Hi, my name is Summer Hooper, and I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a wife, daughter, sister, cousin, aunt, and niece, but one of the most important roles that define me is being a mother. I have a 17-month-old daughter, and I am 22 weeks pregnant with my second child. A quote by Sunny Gupta says, "Being a mother is not about what you gave up to have a child, but what you've gained from having one." Being a mother has changed my entire life, including my perspective on things. As I pondered on the question, who am I, two things came to mind. First is that my role as a mother is one of the most important parts of my life, and one of my greatest passions is learning about psychology and human relations. To expound upon my first point, the instant I became a mother was the instant that I grew in love and appreciation for not only my own mother, but all the mothers I knew in my life. Nothing I read or did could have prepared me fully for being a mother of such a beautiful, innocent child. It was harder than I thought possible, and I never felt more exhausted in my life. However, it was more rewarding and beautiful than I ever knew as well. I learned to appreciate the sacrifices my parents made for me, and I made sure to express that to them. I learned to rely on other experienced mothers around me for guidance and direction into a world I realized I knew nothing about. I learned just a small fraction of how much Heavenly Father must love each and every one of His sons and daughters. My testimony of eternal families grew immensely, and I'm so grateful for the plan of salvation. Being a mother helped me to appreciate the gospel in ways I didn't know were possible. Another important aspect I learned was that I still needed to take time for myself. And so I am furthering my education while raising a family, which brings me to my second point of answering the question of who am I? My passion is learning about psychology and how the brain works, as well as why people are the way they are. I love listening and observing others and learning their life story. As I learn about people's childhood, I learn about why they act and feel the way they do, and it gives me insight into who they are as a person, and I love that. The more I learn about human and family relationships through my degree, the more I'm able to understand others and grow and appreciate them for who they are. It has also helped me to understand and appreciate my husband's family more. He had a very difficult childhood, although he never saw it that way. As I got to know him when we were dating, I couldn't understand how positive he could be about the struggles he went through. He was able to teach me about being resilient and how to overcome hardships in a positive way. As such, I want to do the same for others, and if or when I start a career of my own, hope to be able to make a difference in people's lives. In conclusion, to know me would be to know that family is the most important part of my life, along with the gospel and its teachings. As a mother, I couldn't fathom a more inspiring calling. To know me would also know that I love learning about people and what makes them tick. My degree in marriage and family studies helps me to understand those around me and apply my learning to my own family. These things are at the core of who am I. Anthony D. Angelo once said, "Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow." Being a mother and furthering my education helps me to continually understand and apply what I have learned to my everyday life, which I am grateful for. And that's it.
Very good. Very
Thanks.
good. I think
I'll
what
let you
I
go ahead first, Garrett, so we don't talk over each other, and then I'll give feedback.
oh okay. Uh, I think what I liked best was your inflection in your voice. Um, a lot of people like in public speaking, they're kind of monotone, and I find myself sometimes being monotone. And that it was like just perfect. The inflection in your voice every time that you were either getting toward an end of a sentence or there was something exciting. That actually kept it more interesting. And I like the transition from going from motherhood to your degree and why that degree is important to you, and then how you wrapped it up in the very end. I thought that was a terrific job.
Thank you.
I agree as far as the inflection. You did a great job with making sure and adding emotion in, and you smiled on points that needed to be smiled about. And there were a couple times where your facial expressions were just very appropriate. However, you did fall into a little bit of the monotone when you were reading. You could tell that you were reading a little bit of it, which is fine. You're allowed to use notes. But that's when you kind of dropped off a little bit as far as inflection goes. I really liked the flow. you had it all down and you had a purpose and it was very cohesive. It went from one point to the next all the way to the end. And I really like that you added extra quotes from outside sources in there. That made it a little bit more like you actually took the time to relate those things to your personal story.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your insight.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right, I will stop it.